Hello everyone, I'm Tone 300 and welcome back to Stormworks. So, episode 3, and today we're going to have a go at trying to get this engine running in our boat. So, one thing I did want to mention actually, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm actually switched over to classic mode just while I experiment with the boat, try and get it built. Doesn't affect the game in any way, just an easier way of building in classic. So just thought I'd mention that just in case anyone was wondering why no missions or anything were popping up. So I didn't want to load of wasted missions while I was trying to build a boat, so I thought I'd just build it in a different mode and then we'll go and spawn it in once we can. So at the moment it's going to cost us 12,496. I'm keeping an eye on this because we do only have $25,000. We've got the 20,000 we started with, and 3,000 for putting out the fire, and 2,000 for managing to rescue one person somehow. I don't know what happened to the other 3 people. I think they all died, but you know, this is Stormworks. It's going to happen. So we want to try and get these engines up and running. Now we've just placed them last time just so we had a bit more weight in the boat. So let's start with so we don't need the propellers anymore. We still need to do the gearbox and the clutch. We've done batteries. I just want to get a couple of pipes on me because pipes do everything in this game. And they also, if you hover over them, you can tell what the inputs are for everything. So underneath you can see that is for air. So we need air intakes. This is the power output, where we'll have to connect a clutch, a gearbox and a generator, like an alternator basically, to charge the batteries. And all that then gets connected to the propellers. On this side we have our coolant system. So you've got coolant out, coolant in. Now we can do this in 2 ways. We can use the salt water out of the sea, just suck it in through what we call fluid ports, which I'll show you those shortly. Or we can use a separate fueling system with its own radiator, which is the one I normally use, but I'm going to go for the seawater version. And the reason I'm doing that is I know it can scale the engine, but that's only if you run it at over 100 degrees. So if we can keep it nice and cool and not over rev the engine too much, we should be fine. Here we have the exhaust. So we've got 2 exhaust ports to sort out, and the fuel. So as you know, we've already got fuel tanks. Let's go and hook those up, shall we? Well, I think I'm going to run the fuel lines in yellow, because it's kind of fuel coloured. Well, it's not really, is it? But you know, orange. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to go for yellow. So it could run straight through. Let's just have a look there. So we'll just connect the tanks together to start with. Now we're going to need a T-piece. And rotate that. Back to the straight one. No, not that. I do hate it when you press something and nothing happens. Right, so we could just run that pipe straight through, but however that will then not be sealed. So I've segmented the hole into 3 areas in case we get a breach in the hole and it fills with water. I don't want to fill the whole thing, so we will definitely sink. So what we're going to use instead of the pipe is an enclosed pipe. So that will run, no, pressed it again. Okay, there we go, that's connected. It's hard to get your camera positioned sometimes just to get the connections right. There we go, so that's the fuel connected. Next. Now all these exclamation marks you can see there to do with the power and the logic, so we need to connect the battery and things like that, but we'll do that afterwards. Next, let's deal with coolant, shall we? So the easiest way for us to do this would be to take it out the bottom of the boat. However, we only have one flat block, which could be a mistake on my part. We may have to change this later, but we'll see. So let's find our fluid ports. I don't want them in yellow, we're just going to change to white just to match the boat. The boat's not going to stay white, but where are we? So that's coolant out and coolant in. So if we just use, is this going to block our doorway? It is. I do want some sort of access. Right, it may be easier for us to take it further back. I always press the wrong buttons here. Here we go. So 2 fluid ports for the coolant in and out. Straight pipes. In fact, let's do these pipes in blue. Now, what height are we at? I think we can run them over the engine actually. So if we get a T piece, in fact, let's just bring the other pipe up as well. Hopefully this will provide enough coolant for both engines actually. I suppose we'll soon find out. That's not going to work anyway. So really we could come straight along top and in. No, because we're going to block the exhaust then. Hopefully that should work. In fact, this one could drop down lower. like so. Right, we don't have much room here, but I think we can get it to work. If need be, we can remove these blocks. Okay, so the coolant system's connected. Now just for the exhaust. The thing is, do we have space for this? I think so. So we've got two exhaust outputs. I think we can just tee these together. Or we use a pipe angle corner like so. Yep, that works. Right, so as you can see, that is blocked at the moment, so we need to go up higher. And that's still blocked. In theory, we could go straight up. Maybe not. It's going to be right in the middle of the boat. It's going to look silly. Okay, let's run these straight out the back. That noise is when you misplace something. It fails to place. Oh, this is looking like a larger block where the exhaust is. Now that's going to be a problem. And we can drop it down here, maybe above the propeller. Or in the corner going out. Yeah, so we've got a turn on this. Very difficult to see what I'm doing in here. Okay, there you go. So you can see that's exiting up. And how do we want to terminate this? Should we do... Let's do an enclosed pipe, and then an actual exhaust might look cool. Okay. Might change that again later, but at the moment that's going to be functional. Right, so we've done coolant, we've done exhaust, we've done fuel. So that's this side of the engine is all hooked up. Over on this side we have got air intake at the bottom. Let's run these in white. And actually, where do we want our air intakes? I want them quite high up. I'm thinking... Do we want them on the side or on the top? Because we could put them on the side here. I mean, of course, the higher the better, but let's try up there. That's quite high. Okay, I'm happy with that. So these fluid ports will let the air into the engine. Let's rotate the pipes down like so. Now if we don't want to see these pipes, we could use the enclosed ones. Again, this is something I might change later on. So that's the enclosed one. We will use it here because we want it to be watertight. Going all upside down again. There we go. So let's just use the Q and E to go up and down rather than the free movement. Right, we don't need that there. So where are our air intakes coming in? There. Aha, I see them behind the fuel tanks. So let's get them into the engine room. Going to need another enclosed pipe. Here, the air intakes all the way at the other end of the engine. So, how are we going to get the air to it? We could share it, couldn't we? Because I don't want to interfere with this. So let's take it to the middle. Join those together with a T-piece. And another T-piece. There's a lot of pipes in this engine. Sometimes it will fail to place because you're inside of a block without realising. Let's just move that back one. Right, that's the air intakes done. Now, all that's left is the power system. So for that, we've already got our gearbox and clutch. I'm going to start off with what should we start off with? A T-piece, because we're going to want to put a generator in somewhere. I was going to face it up actually. Or to the sides? Go to the sides. So we just want a small generator. Well, we're going to have two, one each side, so it's equal. From there, then I'm going to place a clutch if I can select it without keep placing generators. So what input side are we using? A. I forget which way round it goes. I think that's right. A, B. It makes sense. Right, as you can see, our propeller is literally just underneath us, so that's going to be tricky. Let's do this. Brings our power back round to here where we can place a gearbox. Now I'm going to place it with the arrow facing towards the engine power. That's because I want to get more RPS to the propeller rather than more torque. If this was just a tugboat, I'd keep it this way round so I'd have more torque and less speed. Okay. So just have one gearbox each side for now. We do have space to add another maybe. Well, I don't know, we'd have to rotate that round another way, but okay, now all we have to do is get these pipes to the propeller. Shouldn't be too tricky. Actually, I'm not sure if we're there yet, are we? Yeah, we are. Okay, so that's the engine system all connected up. Now what we need to do is actually have a way of starting the engine. So I like to use a key starter. And we're also going to need a throttle. We don't need two of those, do we? Let's turn the symmetry mode off for this. Key starter and a throttle lever with the plus facing up. Okay, that's good. And the other thing we might want to do is maybe add some dials. So we'd want one for engine RPS and one for the engine temperature. Maybe for the battery and things like that as well, but we'll add these as we go along. We just want to get it running. So from there, if we go into our logic menu, in fact before we go into our logic menu, we're going to need something called a microcontroller. So these are found right at the bottom here. I've made a few already. Key starter microcontroller, key throttle microcontroller. This is one I like to use. You can see its details here. There are tutorials online for microcontrollers. You can download them as well from the workshop. Do watch some tutorials on them because they are a bit confusing to new players. I found them very confusing. This was the hardest part for me, to get my boat started and actually working. It's just like a computer. It's like the brain for the boat basically. So I'm going to place this at the front of the boat behind here, just because there's a space that we don't really use. Okay, so if we select our microcontroller, use the select key, you can just have a look at the properties here. So we can see we've got 6 nodes on here. We've got an input from our seats or helm. We've got an on and off from the engine, and we have a number output from the throttle, on and off throttle up, on and off throttle down, and on and off for the engine starter. The logic in there is here. Now I got this idea, I believe, from a YouTube video from, I think it's Professor Incognito, is that his name? And it was a very good tutorial on how to set this up. So please have a look at his tutorial on this if you want to copy his design, as I have done. I've edited some of the settings. It's not exactly the same as the way he did it, but it's very, very similar. So I'm not going to go into all the details of it now. Watch this video if you want to know how it works, but this is the microcontroller I'm going to be using. So let's go back and let's hook it up. So we're going to need, from the throttle, see if I can remember how to do this. Is it from throttle here? Yeah. Oh, we completely missed that. On and off from the engine. In fact, I think that's on and off from the key itself. It turns it says from engine, but I don't think it is. So the engine starter, I believe, goes to the key. And there is one here, engine starter. Let's hook up the other one as well. Yeah, we've got throttle up and throttle down. we have, so that's all the ones from the microcontroller. Let's just hook up the battery. So if you click on electric, hook everything up to your batteries. You can link them together if you want to. You can just chain things around, or you can hold control and take it all from one point. I'm going to power the key button, and from there I'm just going to link up everything at the front. Okay, so that's everything with power. Go back to the data. There was a composite as well, wasn't there, on the microcontroller? So we link that to our seat or helm. That's going to enable us to use WAS and D and our clutch and things like that. So we haven't actually done a rudder yet, have we, on this boat? So the dials, value to display, so we want to hook up our, actually we need one for fuel, that's quite important. So engine temperature. Oh, we need, okay, so you can only hook up one per dial. So what I would do in that case, engine temperature, engine RPS. I'll put those two on that side. On the other side we'll have two more eventually for the other engine. Throttle, can we use WNS for this? Or do we just link it to that? We'll link it to that for now. There's a lot to link up, so I may miss something. So W and S. We need a way of engaging our clutch. So we're going to use W and S to engage and disengage the clutch. And then we will control our throttle from the throttle lever. So we need a switch to switch it into reverse, which we're going to have to do that as well. We need dials for the fuel tanks, battery charge. No, that's not how you do that. I'm not sure what you link these to. Generator output. Probably another microcontroller. In theory, I think this would actually start at the moment. I think we've hooked up enough to get it started. Should we go and try it? Let's spawn it in. And we've got power. Dials all going mad. Our throttle is set too high, so we need to adjust that. We hit W, and we are driving. And we're too noisy. So yeah, that's our working boat. Well, I say working, we've got a lot more to add still to this. They're missing an on or off, so we need to hook those up to... I like hooking them up to the key switch, to be honest. So when we start it, let's have a look at that. Oh, this is way too noisy. Yeah, we've got some testing to do. That's better. Right, so as I was saying, we've got some testing to do. I need to add some rudders onto this boat as well. And yeah, so we've got a working engine. That's where I wanted to get to today. It does need some adjustments. We will have to edit probably the microcontroller. Sort out the throttle. Not really sure why it's revving so high. Let's just have a look. Low threshold 0.1. Right, hold duration 1 second, default state off. Let's just name that start. So, here we go. So WNS as well. I need to set this to sticky for the clutch. And AND reset, that's fine. There's so many settings you have to do. We won't name these yet, so we're going to redo the dials. RPS limits to 20, that's fine. Let's have a look at the throttle sensitivity. Yeah, let's turn that down. Turn it down to about 20%. Start value. Max value 1, minimum value 0. Now, what do I normally have these on? Start value, so 0.11. Rename this throttle. Let's just quickly spawn that in and see if that makes any difference. I think it will. There we go. We haven't got any sounds on, that's the only thing, so we can't hear anything now. But yeah, you can see it's not revving as high now. Alright, so that is way too noisy. I'll turn that down again. Yeah, so that's where we're at so far. Yeah, I think we'll leave this one here. Thanks for watching everyone again. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already so. And yeah, leave me some comments below on how I'm doing. Remember, I am new to this, so I'm still learning the game. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. Our new boat's coming along well. Hopefully we'll get out and do some missions soon. So yeah, thanks again guys, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.